Today, I thought it would just be nice to kind of sit and chat about some recent revelations and reflections I've had about my creative journey. I am someone who loves to talk about the creative process and creative journey. I think whatever stage you're at in life has a really big impact on your artistic journeys. It's officially summer, and for me, I feel very rejuvenated during this time of year. I feel really inspired. Coming into the new year in January is always such a slump for me, and I truly feel like I really don't find my footing again until around this time of year. So what better time than to just kind of talk about reflections that I've had. One aspect of my creativity that I've really been focused on is film. Film photography is still fairly new to me. This will be my second year working with it. And my first year, I didn't experiment a whole lot with it. I mostly just stuck to point and shoot. And I haven't been using it as recently. I've actually switched to a different point and shoot. The Kodak one is a half frame, and I love it. It's really great and was an amazing camera for shooting film for the first time. But I recently got a different point and shoot, a freeform Olympus 101 from my parents, and I used that one in the springtime, and I loved working with it. So I want to use that camera some more, specifically for candids. I'm really trying to lessen the amount of time that I spend on my phone. It drives me nuts how anchored we are to these devices, and I'm trying to fix that for myself. I know there's a really small movement. It seems big on the internet, but in reality, I think it's kind of small. But a lot of people my age and in Gen Z are kind of trying to make devices how they used to be, having a device that was for music, having a device that was for taking photos, having a phone just be for being a phone. I kind of want to adopt this way of living. I spend a lot of time on my phone and it doesn't feel the greatest, so I want to fix that. And in doing that, I can also just build a deeper relationship with photography as a photographer and spending more time capturing memories with friends on a film camera that looks way better than any iPhone camera. iPhone cameras have really evolved over the years. They're not as limiting as they used to be, but I think they've reached a point where everything just looks the same. There's not a whole lot of diversity when it comes to what we see on social media in terms of how it looks, unless you're using a DSLR versus an iPhone. There's still a big difference there to me, but even that line is becoming blurrier as we go on, just because Instagram just gets rid of any quality that you upload. I don't think I'll go as hardcore as to making a dumb phone or getting an iPod again, but as far as photography goes, the photos that I have of my friends and my family and just capturing those memories, I really want to be special and be photographs that I actually want to look back on. Another reflection that I've had is one that I think is really important for artists to hear, especially as you get older. I have been taking photography seriously for almost 10 years. I think it's closer to 9. I've had different seasons during that decade or so. I've had points in time where I do a lot of photo sessions for my friends and a lot of experimentation, and I have had seasons where I focus on self-portraiture and just experimenting that way outside of having a model and having a bit more flexibility in that experimentation. And then I've had seasons where I focus on my client work. I've had seasons where I focus on my personal work. And it all looks a little different, not just in terms of art style, but also how much I've been able to create during each of those seasons. When it's just me, I've been able to take self-portraits every week. There was one year where it was just me in my studio, and almost every week I was taking self-portraits of some kind. Whenever I'm relying on my friends, you know, there's a little bit more scheduling that has to go into it. You're maybe not getting to shoot as often. I was still doing a lot within a weekend. Client work, for me, getting my business started hasn't been super often, but the way I treat my client work rather than my personal work it's different. And right now, I'm in a season where I'm very slow to create. Being in a season where I'm taking photos, but it's not as often. It's maybe once a month or once every few months that I would get the feeling of, you're not an artist, you're a hobbyist, and that lessens your artistic value. But I think artists now, with the way that social media is, we've come to accept that even if you are slow to create, that doesn't make you any less of an artist. And I'm really glad that we've adopted this attitude, because when you do see younger artists who have a lot more free time, they don't have as much adult responsibilities, they can go out and create as freely as they're able, they have a lot more free time. I am a photographer who, photography is a second job for me. And I don't think I've ever talked about this before. I won't get too into it because I want to maintain some privacy, but outside of photography, I have a teaching job, and it's very demanding. It's gotten more demanding over the years. I work with a lot of young kids. It's a lot of fun, but it's really exhausting. And there are some evenings where I come home and photography is the last thing on my mind. And it's not that I feel burnt out, it's just that I don't have the room to create in my schedule. I'm someone who has always wanted to maintain a work-life balance. I don't want to be that hustler that misses out on family events or friend events. I want to be able to grow old and know that I lived a very happy, fulfilled life and creating memories. And working all the time just is not super appealing to me. So right now I'm in a season where I'm very picky about the client work that I'm taking. I'm very picky about the personal work that I'm doing, and I'm creating more intentionally. So if you are somewhere in a similar position and you feel less of an artist because you aren't able to create for social media as often as some of these full-time artists, people are different, but it doesn't make you or myself any less of an artist, any less of a photographer. Even if you don't take client work and you're just a hobbyist, I don't think that makes you any less of a photographer. There have been historically photographers who have done amazing work and are really highly acclaimed today, but they never did it professionally within their lifetime. That doesn't make them any less of an artist. It shouldn't make us any less of photographers. I haven't been experimenting as much. When I had more free time and I could just play around in my studio by myself, I experimented with different editing styles, different lighting, different composition, different costume styling. I played around with a lot of things, and as I've grown as a photographer and as I've discovered who I am as an artist and what my creative world looks like, I found that I don't need to experiment as much. My experimentation comes in different forms now. Experimenting with video, experimenting with film, kind of changing up my medium a little bit within the wheelhouse of photography, and less focused on experimenting stylistically. I feel like I know who I am when it comes to my style and the things that influence that, and kind of having a north star to my creative world and being able to play around in that to where it doesn't feel stagnant, but still having a key point to guide me. So I don't feel the need to experiment as much. And with creating intentionally, I do allow myself to have times where I experiment. Going to Scarborough and shooting a roll of film. I'm not a street photographer, and so doing photos like that, just kind of off the cuff at an event, people watching, it's not me. And you can argue they're not the greatest photos. There are some that I liked, but there were a lot that I was like, oh, you know, that's not the greatest photo, but it is what it is. I'm glad that I had fun. I played around, got to find out. So I don't regret it. And I know for next time, if I ever want to do that again, maybe I can be a little bit braver. I can be a little bit more strategic and take photos a little differently if I were to do that again next year, which I might. I haven't decided yet. So being able to plan, okay, here I'm gonna do a film photo shoot on this day, and okay, I'm gonna plan for, I have an open month. Let's let clients know that I'm available for booking, being intentional with the bookings that I'm taking, being intentional with, you know, any personal work, portfolio work that I wanna do. Being more intentional in those choices has made me not need to experiment as much. I'm very confident in my voice as a creative, and so I can apply that to my projects. I hope that makes sense. I know that was a really rambly way of saying that I'm not experimenting stylistically, but I hope that makes a lot of sense. If you can't tell, these have really been just on my noggin for a while, and I didn't really plan to sit and talk about them, but the more that I thought about them, the more I thought it might be nice for other creatives to hear them, just to kind of have that affirmation, confirmation. I've really enjoyed journaling, whether it be journaling how my sessions have gone, what went really well and things that can be improved upon, but also just I want to continue to adopt journaling as a way to enhance my creative process. There's a book called The Artist Way. It was either last year or 2 years ago. It was really popular for a lot of illustrators on YouTube who do like studio vlogs to do The Artist Way and vlog about it. And in that, there was a lot of stream of consciousness journaling, just to kind of start the day and clear your mind of any fog that it might have. While I don't have plans anytime soon to start The Artist Way, it's very time consuming and I just don't have that kind of free time. Being a teacher and planning a wedding it's a lot on my plate right now. So maybe in the future, but I do want to at least adopt the concept of the stream of consciousness journaling to kind of kickstart my creative process, clearing my mind, making sure that I'm ready for whatever it is that I want to do. That way my brain is focused on the art and less on whatever it is that my brain just couldn't let go of that day. With our phones and technology, we don't spend enough time with a pen and paper. I'm someone who's always known that I work better writing stuff down. I have messy journals full of brainstorms. Anything that is creative, I put it in my creative journal. So I want to expand upon that and include journaling aspects to see what happens, if it improves my creativity, if it just improves my mood. It's something that I just want to try out, and if I fall out of habit with it, that's okay. I can always get back into the habit of doing it. It's not something I'm going to put a lot of pressure on myself to do, but if I have the time and can remember to do it, it's something that I do want to try and implement into my routine. So those are my reflections that I've had, just again, things that were weighing on my mind that I thought might be helpful for other creatives to hear, whether you be an illustrator, photographer, ceramic artist, whatever your creative passion is. I hope that some of these ideas are helpful. I hope that I said something that resonated with you. If you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you are new and you would like to see more of my face, you can subscribe, leave a like, all that good YouTube jazz. I hope you have a super lovely day, and I will see you next time. Bye.